Today is February 1st, 2/1 of 2021. It's a special day because it just seems lucky having two ones together if you're a blackjack player. I am not. It happens to be lucky for me because it's my born day, February 1st. And I just happen to think that numerology is something interesting and 2-1-2-1. So today is February 1st, 2021. This is me taking an attempt and probably going to be the beginning of many of these recordings, which I will call a podcast or a show. Oh no, not another podcast. I'm already listening to my 4 or 5 podcasts. I don't have any room to put anybody else. What are you doing? Don't cause problems in my life. What if you end up being good and I have to figure out a way to fit you in my life? Well, that's the hope. I don't know if I'll be good, but the point is that I get comfortable speaking to this thing like I'm speaking to somebody on the phone. And this podcast or this show or whatever it is in my mind is something that I've thought about doing for longer than I care to admit. It's sad. I have recordings of myself from 5 years ago. This recorder that I'm actually recording on was purchased probably 5 years ago if I look up my Amazon history right now. I'm not going to because I don't want to embarrass myself. But this was supposed to be something that I find myself and build myself on. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm coming to you super successful today. But I definitely missed documenting a bunch of different ways I could have shown how a person can grow and a person fails. And that was really the only goal with this. And that's really the only goal now. But what had happened was, when those stories start with what had happened was, you know where it's going. Bunch of excuses. But yeah, at the end of the day, I don't have a good reason for why I don't have this podcast and I'm not more comfortable talking on this microphone today. 5 years ago, podcast was this elusive thing that professionals did, and there was formats and it wasn't as easy to speak freely. And the fact that even right now I'm taking my time and leaving air and breath in the middle of me speaking isn't something that I imagine podcasts being or imagine myself doing, because the people that I listen to, like Dan Miller, like the NPR podcasts, and I don't know if it's appropriate for me to be mentioning people. I don't know the protocol, so excuse me if I'm doing this wrong. But all those people were so poised and they came prepared with notes and they knew what they were going to deliver. And it's not that I want to waste your time. So don't get me wrong. I as well will come with things to deliver. This is the first podcast and the first show, and you're supposed to talk about yourself and you're supposed to talk about your origin story. And really, I want to talk about why you should listen to me in the first place, right? Oh no, another podcast. I mean, why should you listen to me? Why should you even give me the time of day? And probably for the first 20 podcasts, I won't be able, I'm saying 20 as an arbitrary number, I won't be able to live up to what I'm going to say and what I aspire to be the rest of this podcast. So excuse me, I have ambitions, and these ambitions have been on the shelf and probably would have been realized a lot better if I didn't wait this long. And today, sitting here, you probably wouldn't need me to explain why you should listen to me. But since I didn't do that for my current self, and my past self didn't support my current self, I want to start today yes, it's my birthday, but I don't want it to be this like, oh God, I want this momentous experience of starting something on my birthday. Like it's the first of the year. Like, no, this isn't that. I've tried to do things with intensity and it doesn't work. I'm trying to do this with consistency. For the first time in my life, I now have thought about what time I'm going to do this and where it fits in my day. And I considered this as a part of my identity. So I come to you today. Oh God, I really hope that low rumble in the back isn't. That's my really, really old fan in the bathroom that's next to this room. So this might actually motivate me to fix it. But yeah, I come to you today with being nowhere closer to being the person I want to be that can deliver this and make it ultimately worth your time. I can't say that sitting here today, but for the rest of this 20 minutes, 10 minutes, I'm going to speak. I want to talk to you about what I aspire to do and what got this started and what the goal in my mind is and what I think I missed out on documenting, because ultimately the goal of this podcast is to document the hurt and the healing. And that doesn't necessarily relate only to personal or business or relationships, or it relates to everything. So that's how we got started on the idea of this. And when I say we, I have to give a lot of credit to the person who had enough confidence in me and believed in me enough to hit the record button on this recorder throughout the years, even when I didn't have the belief that I would actually put it out, that I didn't have the confidence that you should even sit there and bother to listen to me. Who am I? I always told myself. I haven't accomplished anything yet. And it's funny because I started this whole thing talking to you about how I could have documented all the things that I'm trying to be, and I'm still nowhere close to where I want to be. So this isn't going to be a show about the millionaires telling you how to be a millionaire. This isn't going to be a show about the business people telling you how to be the best business person because they're 100% accomplished already. No, I'm going to bring those people on so they can help us. But I want this to be a show of my peers. And as I grow and as I become that successful business person, we will elevate together. We will grow together. As I have tried in the last 5 years, which I hoped to document, to instill more good habits in my day, to structure my day better, to expect more from myself on a daily basis. As I have tried to instill that, it would have been nice, and it's now going to be a part of what I do on this, to document, to take where I am today and take you to where I'm trying to go. And I hope that we share some commonalities in our goals, and I hope we share some commonalities in the people and the characters that we're trying to develop, and insecurities and shortcomings we're trying to overcome. And I hope we connect on some of those things, and I can relate to you on the other end listening to it, and I can relate to the person that I bring on that can also relate to me, but also not necessarily come from a place of they know the best route. My goal with this is that we develop ourselves together. I'm not trying to posture with this podcast. I'm not trying to position myself as the know-it-all. Although there will be times I speak with such passion that I will sound like that. So I apologize in advance for the soapbox that I will ultimately and inadvertently always find myself on, because the things that I believe in are ultimately the things that I have thought about fully. And I'm open to debating them, and I'm open to changing my mind, but I will express them like I'm willing to die for them. And that's what I hope to develop in every other aspect of my beliefs. And I hope that the conversation evolves and grows, and people are attracted to this and want to encourage discussions around how we can challenge everything that we are. So back to who I am and what I'm trying to accomplish. Stop sinking. You're probably thinking about, what the hell is stop sinking? My sister says it reminds her of stop stinking, which I hope doesn't come into your mind when I say stop sinking. But the point of stop sinking is this, I don't know, it's going to be it has a subtle meaning that you will probably find it developing over time. And I don't want to reveal all the subtle meanings of it. So we'll play on that word a lot over time. But it started with me and my girlfriend joking around about, in an accent, like, stop thinking, stop sinking. What are you thinking about? And ultimately, it evolved from that to all the ways that we sink, and all the ways that we think, and all the ways that we overdo the things that we aren't supposed to do to keep us from the things that we are supposed to do. And some of those things that I want to cover is this concept of pie. And that allows us to go into all the different realms. And I know you're supposed to pick a health, wealth, relationship niche, and you're supposed to only speak about people trying to achieve goals in either their health or their wealth or their relationships. And I can't find myself isolating myself just talking about one facet of life, because I'm not, and I don't think anybody is, a one-faceted human being. And sure, that may open me up to a general scope. But what I hope to talk about is this concept of pie. And pie stands for physical, intellectual, and emotional. And the theory is that you need every ingredient and every recipe, every ingredient and every piece of the recipe to make a good pie. And you need to manage your physical, you need to manage your emotional, you need to manage your intellectual. And there's obviously various topics that we're going to be able to dive into from that. So who am I to talk about this? Just another flawed human being. I mean, does it really take anything more than that? I mean, I could tell you that I'm of this accomplishment and in this status and from this experience. And, you know, I worked in corporate America for 14 years and I've done sales for this long and I have my own business and I do marketing. And I don't want this to be just one thing. And I don't want to be seen as just one thing. So instead of what I do being the question and what my background is for you to judge me, I like to, when I meet people, not ask them what they do, because it's such a difficult conversation, or it's not necessarily always a genuine one, because depending on the place that a person is in at that time in their life. And I know I relate to this when I was unemployed, or I was making a transition in my life and somebody asked me, what do you do? Or I've had my parents be asked, oh, what is your son doing? And them having to say, oh, he's not doing anything. So what you do is less important to me than what you pursue. What you pursue is something that we can all congregate on, because there could be all walks of life that do all different types of things, but are trying to get to one place. We're all trying to get to a level of health. We're all trying to get to a level of success in our relationships. We're all trying to get to a level of success in our business. And it doesn't matter what walk of life you're currently from, or whether you are currently trading stocks, or you're currently working at McDonald's, or you're currently, it doesn't necessarily matter. I said those two things because to me, they're the opposite ends of how somebody would walk into a room and feel pride about maybe that's just my own bias, and let's not impose that. But to me, I would feel less proud of myself when somebody asked me what I do if it wasn't something that was pushing my potential. And I don't think, unless you're the best person working at McDonald's, I don't think that's the best that you could do with your life. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think you could do more. And even if you are doing the most and you're working 100 hours a week, I still think there's something that you are trying to pursue. So it doesn't matter what it is that you're trying to do. I want this to be a conversation about what we're all trying to pursue. And I think we can all find common ground on that. So that's some of the what that I want to talk about. Where am I trying to take you? I'm trying to take you from that struggle to flow. I'm trying to have it where we're no longer sinking and we're no longer overthinking, and we're overcoming that with action, and we're overcoming that with firing first and aiming on the go. And why is that important? Why are these things important? Why do I want to go from struggle to flow? Why do I want to manage my pie? What do I care about managing my physical and my intellectual and my emotional? I'm fine the way that I am. Well, it depends. If you heal, you can heal the people around you. And you can heal your family member, your community member, your county member, your town member, your city member, your country member. If you heal yourself, this beautiful thing happens. The things that you care about begin to heal. The things that you care about, you're able to do more about. You're able to take action on. And what happens is the things that you care about start to move. And then when you start to move them, people around you start noticing, and they start to give you a hand. And the things that you care about start moving even faster. And what happens is this concept of scaling your care. And you can scale the impact that you have on all the things that you care about if you heal yourself. So why wouldn't you begin? Why wouldn't you listen to some of the tactics? You may come here and you say, I just want to grow in this one thing that I came to this podcast for, this show for. You brought me here for marketing. You brought me here for one topic of personal development, how to read faster, how to organize this, how to manage my day, how to write some tactical thing, how to say something a specific way in business, in sales, in your intro call, in your demo, in anything. What tactical thing can you use in your physical exercise? What things can you use in your intellectual and emotional principles when dealing with people? Tactical things that will bring you here. I hope that the why that you come with is strong enough that you evolve and take me with you as I take you with me into realizing that there's strategies in the tactics, and that it's not just working on those tactics that you came for, that you have to work on me, that I have to work on myself for those tactics and those strategies to work. And then hopefully you come to realize that the tactics and the strategies was never the issue, that it was you who was in the way, and that you start to get out of your way, and that we start to flow, and all the things that we love start to flow. and they start to go, and they start to make an impact in the world. So that's what I aspire to do. That's what I aspire to start this show for. That's what I have aspired to do for a long time. It's a tall glass, for sure. There's many people on the same journey with me, so I'm glad I'm not alone. I don't think I'm carrying this burden alone at all, and I'm glad for that. And I talked a lot about myself, and I talked a lot about why I wanted to start the show, and I hope you got some value out of that. But if you didn't, I will try to add at the end of this just 3 things that hopefully wrap up what I talked about in some concise way, but also make it worth it that you gave me the last 25 minutes and sat through some of the things that probably didn't relate to you. And I hope that this does. The number one thing I would say is just begin. And I say that obviously from not having begun this as soon as I should have. And it never becomes easy to not begin something that you know you're supposed to be doing because you feel the dull ache and the pull in your body at all times. So just begin. And when you begin, number 2, you can fire and aim after you fire. Adjustment to anything can only be made while it's in motion. You cannot move a boat that is sitting still. If something is set on its target and on its way, if it veers left and right, you can provide it feedback and adjust the course. But if it's sitting still, your only next step is to get it in motion. It doesn't matter what direction that it's going in. So just fire and adjust. And make time on a daily basis. When you go with these approaches, make time in your daily basis, on a daily basis. And this is point number 3, to reflect. When you don't make time on a daily basis to sit with yourself or to write, meditate, you think that you are your thoughts. You think you are the things that are going on because you're so engulfed in the things that you can never work on the things. So make time to reflect. And then you can really know what proper navigation is required and what direction is required for what you have just fired. I love you guys. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you got something out of my attempt to be something finally that somewhere inside of me knew that I already was. And today, my fingers, my legs, my mouth, my body supported that other part of me. And I hope it continues to. I hope to see you soon. If you got something out of this, please share this with one other person. That's all I ask. I'll talk to you guys soon. Lots of love always.